Thank you for plugging into this Family Life News podcast, streaming issues-driven, family-focused news.
Is Faith Under Fire. Each Thursday on Family Life, we give voice to religious battlegrounds in this nation. I'm your host, Tracy Lynn. With us today, Dr. Douglas Groothuis, professor of philosophy at Denver Seminary. We've all heard of critical race theory, but it's just one stem, if you will, of critical theory. Doug, in a nutshell, what is critical theory, and how does it stack up against the Bible?
Yes, well, critical theory was created in the 1920s by a group of Marxist philosophers, Germans, out of Frankfurt, Germany. And one of the lead people was a man named Herbert Marcuse. And through his work and other people like Kimberly Crenshaw and Derek Bell came what is called critical race theory. So the idea is that societies are racist. They're all racist in one way or another. And in our society, racism is from whites against blacks, and basically whites against people of color. So if you are white, especially if you're white and male, then you're an oppressor. You're just racist by virtue of your skin color. And that's how everything is analyzed according to race. You could call it race essentialism.
Wow. Now, besides Karl Marx, which we're more familiar with, you mentioned Herbert Marcuse. Again, he came out of that Frankfurt School in Germany. You've already alluded to it, but how else have you seen his ideas really fanned into flame in the U.S.?
Well, the idea is that if you are a person of color or if you are a gender minority, then society oppresses you systemically. So the only answer to that is to destroy the society. So critical race theory is not about reforming America according to its best ideals, which is the view I advocate in my book, but it's really about tearing it down. And in 2020, it was really about literally burning it down. So this is not good for America. It's un-American. And it's really not the way to find real peace and real justice in society.
Yeah. Critical race theory is now showing up in schools under other names. What have you observed some districts are now calling it?
Well, they may try to hide it. Some people are saying, yes, critical race theory is good, and it's the only way to address racism in America. Well, I think both of those answers are wrong. It's not good, and there are many better ways of addressing racism, and that is according to what really happened in history and according to the fact that America is a self-reforming system. America abolished slavery, it abolished Jim Crow, and we have a long way to go, but imposing some kind of neo-Marxist interpretation on things is not the way to go because, as I said, it's un-American. It's also a non-biblical view. We're all made in the image and likeness of God. Every race, actually, is only one human race. We're all sinful. We all need the grace of God, and we should really be viewed primarily as individuals first and members of a group second.
Yeah, amen. Thank you for that. Ideas really matter. Doug, where can we start in connecting with others to discuss these topics with truth and grace, especially when we're so far apart?
Well, I hope that my book, Fire in the Streets, will be helpful. It's a thoughtful book, but it's not overly academic. I think someone with some time and willing to study can make some sense out of it. There are a number of various Christian ministries out there, such as your own, that are trying to keep tabs on this. I'd encourage anyone who has children in the state schools to get involved with the schools to figure out what's going on, maybe get on the school board. But we can't just assume that the American schools are teaching what parents want them to teach, because this is really the training ground for new revolutionaries, according to the critical race theory perspective.
Thank you. And where can we learn more about you and your work?
Well, I have a webpage. It's simply called DouglasGroothuis.com. The last name is spelled Groothus, DouglasGroothuis.com.
That's philosophy professor and author Dr. Douglas Groothuis. I'm Tracy Lynn, Family Life News.